our ego likes to be pampered. We like to be patted on the back and, hey, good job. It's an ego boost.
And that's why we want to fight this thing, right? The ego is our enemy.
No, ego is not our enemy. Ego is our friend.
Okay, but
you gotta think of the ego as like your roommate, and it's a roommate that is never gonna move away. There's as much as you switch apartments, this roommate is with you for life. So, do you want to keep fighting your ego? Do you want to? I mean, could you imagine being in having a fucking roommate? And no matter where you went, he followed. And no matter how much you fought with him, he's not going away and you can't get rid of him. Like, does fighting sound like a reasonable thing to do in that situation? No.
I think you can get rid of ego. It's a long, probably, effort, a lot of effort.
But here's the thing. You need your ego to be able to function in society. You need it. Trust me. Look, you're talking to somebody that went through the fucking process where I got extremely spiritual and I said, I'm going to get rid of this fucking ego. And I destroyed and eliminated and cut out all attachment to everything. And you know what was there? And do you know what was there? Do you know what was there? Do you know what was there? Darkness. Everything was black. There was nothing there. There was nothing there. You need to have a healthy mind. That you need to have a healthy relationship with your ego.
We would need to define ego, what we're talking about, really, because that's a very vague term.
Well, the way I like to look at the ego is it's basically a part of your mind that is designed to store every bit of information that you have and try to make sense of it, and then it reports back to you through the voice of your own.
For me, ego is all the conditioning that we got from, the society, TV, our parents, who should we be?
Right, and that's what I'm saying, and that's the voice that tells you that you're not enough. That's the voice that tells you to play it safe.
Fake voice. That's a completely fake voice, that we acquired,
Right. Yes, we can agree. We can agree on this, correct? We can agree. This is I'm speaking. What I just said. I'm speaking of the same thing.
Yeah, I think we can get rid of that shit.
Can you give me an example of somebody that has gotten rid of their ego?
I guess there are people like that.
Show me. Show me.
Even it doesn't prove anything, you can...
It does prove something. It does prove something. Bro, I bought into the belief that I needed to destroy and kill off my ego. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I bought into the same fucking books that you read. I watched the same videos that you watched. Coming from the same people that have no fucking idea what they're talking about.
But so what are you saying? That you want to keep those thoughts?
No, I want you to develop a relationship with your ego, with the thoughts and the ideas that come up, and recognize that you are not those thoughts. That is part of who you are. That is part of your ego, is a memory bank that is like a hard drive that is within you, and it's going to continue chiming, telling you that you're not enough, or telling you to play it safe, or telling you that you shouldn't jump on this opportunity. You're going to have those voices. But like I've been working with Kirsten here for last several months, and he had a lot of those same things going on in his life, right? He had a lot of the same voices, and he couldn't distinguish the difference between his voice and the voices that were in that from the egoic mind. And because he couldn't distinguish the voices, he didn't know the difference. Basically, he was plagued with anxiety, fear of everything, and he was, Harrison, he can vouch for it. When he started working with me, I mean, he couldn't even fucking talk to me because he'd be like breaking out in sweats about every little thing, because he identified as the voices that were coming from his ego. What I'm saying is it has nothing to. You still need to have a healthy ego. Because if you don't, you're not going to do anything. There's only darkness if you don't have it. You don't have it. I went through the process of stripping it away to complete nothingness, and there's nothing there. Okay? It's not a pleasant place to be because you can't function in the world without ego and stories and beliefs and identities. Okay? You can operate. What I'm telling you is you need to get to, you can get to a point where you develop a friendly relationship with this ego. You start to distinguish the difference between your true authentic voice, which is not influenced by all the externals, and the voice that is influenced by all the externals. And then you can develop a merger, a healthy merger, where you can co-function and go throughout reality and life in a healthy way of being. When you develop a healthy relationship, you start to distinguish the difference between what is your pure intuitive decision or thought versus the egoic ugly shit, right? Because some parts of your ego might spit out some things that, and speak in a voice that tells you to do something and you do it and it's pretty cool and there's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely fine. But it's not identifying as it. That's basically, it's detaching your identity from it, recognizing that it is a part of you, just like your mother is your mother on this earth plane in this lifetime, but she is not you, right? You, I am that I am enough, I exist, therefore I am enough. I'm connected with all living things. I'm here to explore and experience life in its entirety. If I want to experience a threesome, I can. But now I can do it without all the baggage and the jealousy and the ugliness that I was being controlled by over here. Now I can do it and I can experience these two absolutely beautiful female bodies, and I can experience every single touch and thrust and everything in it, and I can truly be present, and it can be a magnificent experience. And then tomorrow's a new day, and tomorrow's a new day to have create all new experiences.
For me, it's hard to untangle what I really wanted to do with women and what was
There's a lot of confusion. I can tell there's a lot of confusion in your head about it, and to the point where you're not even giving yourself permission to want what you want, to do what you want to do, because you're incapable. There's too much confusion at this point. The biggest thing that you got to do is you got to start to quiet those voices. You got to stop identifying with the voices that you think are you. And you do this, there's a simple exercise that you can do. Stand in front of the mirror and say the I love you mantra. I see you. I hear you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And you run that through your mind. And you can do it in the mirror every day, but you can also do it every day, every single moment that your voice starts chattering. Every time you get a thought, oh, well, I need to go and approach this girl, or, oh, I should really want that, or I should really want this, or whatever. Like, as those voices come up, make a conscious choice to hear the voices. Okay? And when you hear the voices, they sound like you. It's up until this point, you've identified as them. That you are walking down the street and you think that it's you thinking about that girl's ass that just walked by. Run that mantra. Just recognize, be aware of the voices. If it's voices that you maybe are judgmental towards somebody else or judgmental towards yourself. Start with that. Any voices that are judgmental towards another person or another human being, any judgmental statements toward myself, every time that happens, I'm going to run this. I'm going to pay attention to it. I'm going to raise awareness to it. I'm going to acknowledge it. And then I'm going to make a conscious decision to run this mantra through my mind. I hear you. I see you. That means that you are actually taking the initiative and recognizing that you are not it. And you're also acknowledging it because it just wants your attention. Remember, it's an annoying roommate. How do you stop somebody from being annoying? You don't stop them from being annoying by ignoring them. By ignoring them, they're only going to keep coming at you. By ignoring the bully, he's only going to keep coming at you. But with the annoying roommate, by saying, I see you, I hear you, you are letting your ego, that part of yourself that's separate, you are letting that part of yourself know that you see it, you hear it, that you acknowledge it. What does a child want? It wants to be heard. Every child wants to be heard. Every child wants to feel like he's being seen. There's nothing wrong with that. Let yourself give attention to this child. View your ego as like a little child. Okay? I see you. I hear you. I love you. Give it your attention. Give it your love. I forgive you. I'm sorry. Give it your forgiveness. And say thank you. It's okay. All is well. But I got this, motherfucker. I got this. Not you. I got this. And you got to kind of get crazy with it because this motherfucker is a manipulative bastard that has been fucking you out of your dreams your entire life.
I want to add that what Corey's pointing to isn't something that a person really gets until further down the road, right? When I hung out with Corey 2 years ago, I've been meditating for close to 10 years. And Corey was still telling me that my mind was getting at me in different ways. And at the time, I'm like, what are you talking about? My mind's silent. What I realized years later was that my mind existed on so many other levels, and it had just started hiding. And it took even more examination for me to get to the point that he was talking about. So there was a part of me that was like, yeah, sure, I get it. But you're not really going to get it until later when you do what he's telling you. When he's telling you...
You're not going to get this by meditating 20 minutes a day.
No, that's not what I'm trying to say.
Every moment of your life.
You're taking what I'm trying to get at and trying to simplify it. And what I'm trying to say is you have to really explore what he's talking about to get it. It's not something you can understand until later. That's what I'm saying. He's pointing at something that is hard to grasp until you practice what he's telling you. So he's telling you, stand in front of the mirror.
About deep subject, we are talking about deep subject, and it's deep, man. It's deep. We understand that. It's not that we're gonna, just make fun of it.
Just do this practice. Every single time that you have a judgment toward another or toward yourself, do that practice. And be disciplined with it and do it for the next 14 days. Things will start to shift for you. I promise. You have to give yourself that time, and you have to put in the work on yourself to be able to even remotely understand what I'm explaining here.
Your reality transforms. So you can't just talk about the transformation of your reality as a deep subject. It's literally how you perceive the world, existence. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not a deep topic. Philosophy is a deep topic, right? We can talk about all sorts of things philosophically.
I'm not saying about intellectual side that it's deep.
No.
It's even, we cannot even describe it in words, What Corey says and what we are talking about, it's life. You cannot even describe it in words,
Yeah, and what I'm trying to get at is, and what I'm trying to say is that you want to focus on his practice so you can experience the transformation for yourself. Because it's not about what we're talking about, it's about the transformation of your experience as a being.